morning, and thank you for joining us on the Tuesday edition of TVC Breakfast. I'm Veronica Dan Ikboy, and as usual, I have Kemi Foladiemo here with me this morning. Kemi.
Hey, Vero. Good morning.
Good morning.
It's Tuesday already. I take your heat.
All right, it's good to be back on the show this morning, but let's quickly delve straight to the news we have. And it's this story about women enraged by the constant disruptions to the peace and stability of the communities around Mangu, Plateau State. They have staged a protest following the latest killings. On Monday, 4 people were killed in a village 3 kilometers from Mangu Township. The bodies of the latest victims were taken to the palace of the paramount ruler amid wailing by the angry protesters. Funam Joshua has the update.
Communities in Mangu have experienced a series of invasions by gunmen suspected to be Hadar militiamen in the area in recent times. More than 600 people, including women and children, are reported to have lost their lives, with several houses and other properties destroyed. Nigeria's Chief of Army Staff General Tariq Lagbaja visited Mangu Council area a few weeks ago and launched Operation Hakorin Damisa Special Forces, saddled with the responsibility to put an end to the incessant killings in the area. The presence and efforts put forth by the Operation Safe Haven operatives, together with the troops of Operation Hakorin Damisa for weeks, calmed the killings and counter-killings until the latest Sunday midnight attack that claimed 4 lives again. The women accuse the military of not putting in place proactive measures to secure farmlands and protect vulnerable groups from incessant attacks.
They are killing us like animals. Securities are not even helping. Are we not Nigerians? Is there security in Plateau State? The government should come to our help. We are tired of all these things.
Yes, we don't want them anymore.
We don't want them.
We don't want the soldiers. Let them be withdrawn.
We chatted with a security expert on whether the call for the withdrawal of the soldiers as demanded by the protesters was the best at the moment.
Scrapping off the special task force is not the remedy. Rather, there should be additional effort, added to what is on ground currently. If you scrap it off, whatever system you are setting up will have to take time to build structure before they can reach out and do the work of security. So as it is, the Air Force needs to come, the mobile police needs to join hands, the police on ground needs to join hands, civil defense, all hands must be on deck to make sure that there is a new vision that will provide security on the plateau.
The army authorities are yet to respond to the allegations brought against them by the locals. More proactive measures from the authorities are needed to put an end to the recurring situation, as well as restore total normalcy to all areas affected by insecurity in Plateau State. Funam Joshua, TVC News, Mangu.
All right. Obviously distressed women out there protesting the continuous attacks they have been witnessing in recent times, because recall that Plateau State have been in the news in recent days as a result of this matter of attacks, especially in the Mangu area of the state. And they, at some point, the Magavo Development Association members were pointing accusing fingers at the Fulani community in that area, and they also, the Fulani community, talking about the Cattle Development Association spoke for that community, were also pointing accusing fingers as against each other. They were pointing accusing fingers at each other, but now the attention has been turned to the military, saying that the military is not making or taking proactive steps at addressing this matter. We have seen houses destroyed, people displaced, people killed, lives lost, farmlands lost, cattle rustled and lost, and yet it seems there is no solution in sight. We saw the military move its quarters, moved its office to to Plateau State at some point to addressing this matter. Yet we are still seeing these attacks going on, Kemi?
The women, understandably, are frustrated, Veronica, and one can only imagine what they must be going through, having to sleep with one eye open, if at all they get any sleep, and it's really embarrassing on the army's operations. This is a place. This is Mangu. This is Plateau State, where the Army Chief, Tarid Lagbaja, only recently visited to assure residents of the Army's readiness to curb all forms of crime and criminality in that troubled area of the state. But of course, he didn't say that alone. He also urged residents to cooperate with the troops, and he said a lot of things. He also spoke about the issue of trust. He spoke about the issue of everyone to let peace reign, and now this. So for the women to now be demanding that the troops leave, the first thought that came to my mind is, this is frustration at work. This is helplessness at work, and it remains to be seen what exactly the odds are against the troops, what exactly the troops are dealing with in a place like Mangu. And experts have also spoken about, the complex nature of the conflicts that we are seeing there. There seemed to be an issue of allegations and counter-allegations on the part of the residents and on the part of the cattle herders. So it really is a complex situation, but a crime is a crime, and law and order must prevail. Security forces must also be able to curb excesses on the parts of anyone with no one left out. Absolutely. And of course, asking troops to leave the area, what's then happens if, as it is now, we are still recording some form of killings and all that. Asking them to leave.
Right. I recall sometime last year, our reporter, Phenom Joshua, actually spoke to that effect. I think it was sometime last year or early this year, where he said that they were asking the police to leave because it seems they were not getting the results like we are seeing again here that they wanted to see with regards to addressing this matter or tackling it head on. And the matter of trust is critical between the people and security officials if they really want to get that result desired. So there must be an element of distrust or mistrust that is in this whole circle that we are seeing, that is making them, the women especially, demand for the special task force, that's Operation Safe Haven, to leave that area, because they were brought there to resolve these issues. And if you're now saying these people should leave, there must be a matter on the ground. And I would think that it is to get to the root of the matter that would have to know how to address this issue. If you really want to understand why they are asking these people to leave, questions have to be asked. Why do you want them to leave? Perhaps they need to start interviewing persons, these women who are aggrieved. What have they seen? What have they witnessed? Who have they spoken with? That they believe that something is wrong and they want these people out of their community. Right. And if you want them out, so what is the solution to addressing the issue? Have there been a roundtable conversation to addressing this matter? Several times we've had conversations where persons will say that they had a roundtable conversation and both communities, talking about the Cattle Herders Association, accusing each other. Now, if you are accusing each other, something has to give for there to be some level of peace, because the level of destruction we are seeing is not helping the community or the people. How do we resolve it should be the way forward as it is. And we must begin to see ourselves as first Nigerians, humans, before you start saying, okay, we have a community. Was there any form of grievance or anything that has to be resolved? The governor at some point went to meet Tarid Lagbaja, like you mentioned, and that was when he even said that we are going to move in to ensure some level of peace at the end of the day. But we are still seeing this matter going on. The matters of insecurity has dimensions to it, and I believe that all dimensions has to be looked into to know how to get a lasting solution. because the people cannot go to their farms. That is what they are saying. And we know that the women oftentimes are the ones who are at the forefront of farming in these areas. If they can't farm, how do they feed?
Big questions. And, while we're talking about, all of these, from what we see, we also know about the state of the refugee camps, because that's basically what, what is also playing out in Plateau State, in Mangu. The people there, the internally displaced persons, are in need and clear need of, basic amenities. Of course, they're getting some form of aid from the government, but
it's not enough.
When you look at the enormous crowd, when you look at the residents, when you look at the children who've been deprived of schooling and their regular lives, you mentioned farming, which is critical for these women, for these farmers, and the implications are not even us who are living down south.
Yeah.
It's really hydra-headed. And you spoke about engagement, community engagement. I recall that, and you mentioned to that effect too, that the army chief also had a critical meeting with all stakeholders during his visit, and people spoke out their minds. And we don't know what else has happened before that, but apparently there does seem to be an urgent need for these kind of engagements to be continuous and not one-off. So these women have spoken out now, and so we expect that there will be like a round table. People should come and unburden, let the army come, be adequately represented. The police, if the army is there, what other support are they also getting from, sister agencies in the area? Because the army cannot do it all. They need the partnership
Absolutely.
of everyone.
Absolutely.
And then the issue of kinetic and non-kinetic measures, which the army has also been talking about of recent in dealing with crimes of this magnitude, should also be further explored to ensure that these issues become a thing of the past. Because it's too sad. This is Plateau State, for crying out loud. It has a strong legacy of peace, of beauty, of harmony with all the divergent cultures that gather there, that live there, that seek refuge in Plateau State, and now having to see areas like this, more and more areas like this being at risk of violence in the dead of the night, unwarranted attacks, and all that. It's really something that we hope not just Plateau, but every part of Nigeria.
Absolutely, because it brings to mind how these people can benefit from governance as it is.
Absolutely.
The governor wants to do something, but when we have instability of this magnitude, how can they be beneficiaries of whatever the government of the state is trying to do at the end of the day? I think that as much as we are looking at having a roundtable conversation, people have to unburden sincerely, and you may not get a holistic approach at the end of the day, a satisfactory way of addressing your issues, maybe from the government or stakeholders, but something has to give to ensure there is some level of stability.
Absolutely.
Because the number of persons whose lives have been lost, farmlands lost, cattle rustled, businesses and all of those things is not in the interest of anybody as it is, whether those involved in the crime or those causing unrest in this community, Mangu community, or those not involved. Everybody is feeling the pinch. So we must tell ourselves the truth that at this point, we must ensure there is peace at some point and then help the security agencies achieve what it has come to the community to achieve at the end of the day. We'll have to leave this conversation here